Shabbat Shalom. Thanks for joining us virtually. Hopefully you received the email with our Shabbat of Freedom service. We begin our service together on page 2, at the bottom of the page with remembrance. Remember the stories of slavery, and you will never stop working for freedom. Remember their fear at the edge of the sea, and self-doubt will never defeat you. Remember when desperation turned to celebration, and you will never let go of hope. Remember the words of the Baal Shem Tov. Forgetfulness leads to exile. Remembrance is the secret of redemption. We continue on page 3. The path of freedom. You took us out of the darkness so that your light might dwell among us. You showed us your power to bring down the powerful, uplift the enslaved, transform the social order. You showed us your strength so that we might remember our own. We carry the Exodus vision wherever we go, lest we forget our sense of liberation, lest we lose the joy of breathing free, lest we grow indifferent and blind to others' pain. So long as we work to make you present, we walk the path of light and freedom. But if we forget to bring you into this world, then we return to the darkness. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And at this point in our service, we think of the week that is past, and we hold on to all of the good things from this past week. So if you had an experience that inspired gratitude, if you have some good news to share, no matter how big or how small, we invite you to share that joy with the community in the comments section. And we thank God for all of these blessings, including the blessing of simply being alive for this moment in time. The words of Shehechianu on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Continue with one brick. The day I started walking, they handed me a brick, and then another. Build, build, they urged me, and so I did. I knew nothing of life outside of the walls I built, until I heard a faint whimper coming through the cracks of the oldest facade. Hello? And like an echo, your reply reverberated through my ribs, startling and piercing like the cry of a shofar. And at that moment, part of the wall came crashing down, just one brick that separated me from you. Arms instinctively reached toward the light on the other side. You grasped my hand through the brokenness. My fingertips read the map of your callous palm, a topographical record of all of the labor, the pain, and the accomplishments of a lifetime of building incessantly on the other side. As your hand lay in mine, I knew we were both slaves, but for that moment, you and I, we were free. So we continue with Lechado D, or Bowie Kala, an abbreviated version of Lechado D, on page 7. Bowie Kala, Bowie Kala, Bowie Kala, Bowie Kala. Bowie Kala, Bowie Kala, Bowie Kala, Bowie Kala. Lechado Di, Likrat Kala, Penny Shabbat Nikah Bila. Bowie Kala, Bowie Kala, Bowie Kala, Bowie Kala. Bowie Kala, Bowie Kala, Bowie Kala, Bowie Kala. And we continue with the official call to worship, the Baruch Hu, on the bottom of page 8. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Echu et Adonai Hamivorach Baruch Adonai Hamivorach Hamivorach Leolam Vaed Hamivorach Hamivorach Leolam Vaed. And we continue at the bottom of page 9, the peace of wild things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day, blind stars, waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and I am free. Continue with the Shema, the top of page 10. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושינתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני Adonai Elohechem. We continue on page 11. This I confess. I have taken Egypt with me. I've kept myself a slave to grief and loss, fear and anger and shame. I have set myself up as taskmaster, driving myself beyond the limits of reasonable time and common sense. I've seen miracles from heaven, signs and wonders in my own life. Yet I've taken Egypt with me, still waiting for the heavens to speak. God of redemption, with your loving and guiding hand, leaving Egypt is easy. Leaving Egypt behind is a struggle. In your wisdom you have given me this choice, to live in a tyranny of my own making, or to set my heart free to love you, and to love your people, and to love myself. God of freedom, help me to leave Egypt behind, to hear your voice, to accept your guidance, and to see the miracles in each new day. Blessed are you, God of wonder, you set your people on the road to redemption. Continue on page 12.
Well, actually, we've got Miriam's song and Mi Chamocha, and I want to do something new with you all tonight. Sorry to shock you, Rabbi.
Oh, startled.
So there's a way to actually fit Mi Chamocha into Miriam's song, and you'll pick it up so quickly. It goes like this. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'edar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. All right. So that's how that goes into Miriam's song. So let's try that together. Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'etar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. That sounded so good. How did that sound to you, Rabbi?
Amazing. I hear them all from home.
All from home. Let's sing And the Women now with our English.
And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long.
And Miriam was the
Weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit as she dances towards the light. And the women dancing with her timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long.
When Miriam stood upon the
Shores and gazed across the sea, the wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe.
Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched
hand, and we would pass with freedom and march to the promised land. And the women dancing with her timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women
dance and dance the whole night long. Last verse. And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We just lived through a miracle, we're gonna dance tonight. And the women dancing with her timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance all night long. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha ne'edar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osefele. Nora tehilot osefele.
Continue on page 14. If all the world were free. Wouldn't it be wonderful if all the world were free, to build, to dream, to procreate for all blind men to see? It shouldn't take a great deal to meet this lofty goal, just an attitude of kindness from the bottom of your soul. But men would have to change their ways. That may be hard to do, to live or die for someone else, and to be honest too. To be my brother's keeper may be more than I can bear, to give the world all I can give, and most of all to share. It's really tough, this freedom thing. Just where do I begin? 'Cause I've been taught that just one man in bondage is a sin. But one clear thought that keeps coming through for people to be free, that's God's great dream of brotherhood must be born in me. Continue with Bishamru, celebrating a day of freedom and rest. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Continue on page 15. The freedom of space. One day, a few days after the liberation, I walked through the country past flowering meadows for miles and miles toward the market town near the camp. Larks rose to the sky, and I could hear their joyous song. There was no one to be seen for miles around. There was nothing but the wide earth and sky and the lark's jubilation and the freedom of space. I stopped, looked around and up to the sky, and then I went down on my knees. At that moment there was very little I knew of myself or of the world, but I had one sentence in my mind, always the same. I called to the Lord from my narrow prison, and he answered me in the freedom of space. We continue with our central prayer, the Amidah, on page 16. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, ומביא גאולה לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל, אתה רב להושיע, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. We continue with a quiet moment for personal prayer or reflection. Page 18. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. And at this point in our service, we think of loved ones who are in need of healing. Tonight, we think especially of Henry Horwitz, Beth Levine, Rabbi Jerry Levy, Rachel Loria, Jean Sanders, and Sue Shires. If there are other loved ones whose healing we wish to pray for, please type their name in the comments below, parentheses, healing. Together we pray for their refuah shlema, their complete healing of body and or spirit, with the words of Misha Berach on the top of page 21. Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. So now we continue with your favorite item,
My favorite time.
announcements.
Announcements. Oh, thank you, Rabbi. Torah study is back tomorrow at 11 a.m. It has an exclamation point, so I read it that way. Check it out for some great conversation and bring your own brunch because it's on Zoom. We've got book club coming up Monday, April 5th, 7 p.m. via Zoom. Join the group to talk about Ruth Gillian's book called Nine Folds Make a Paper Swan. This book is about Jewish identity in Ireland with 3 story arcs involving immigrants, people locked in a mental institution, and journalists. Come learn how those pieces fit together this Monday night. My microphone is having some emotions tonight. Check out the community events section in this week's email. There are many highlights and events this week, including a speaker sharing her story as a Jewish woman who hacked into the online world of white supremacy, an online tour of Jaffa in Israel, and the story of a Holocaust survivor named Joseph Soroka. Do you think I said that right?
Pretty close, yeah.
Oh, I was close. How would you say it?
I think that's go with Soroka.
Soroka, okay. Sorry, Joseph, if you're watching. Who escaped from a Polish ghetto and lived under a fake Catholic identity in order to survive. So that's what's happening this week.
Awesome. Thanks for the report, Rachel.
No problem, Rabbi Uva.
We continue our service with Aleinu on page 22. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד. At this point in our service, we think of loved ones who have passed away recently or at this time in years past. Tonight we remember with love Francine Anatrella, sister-in-law of Nicole and Heather Rossi, Peggy Kohler, mother of Shoshana Arthur, mother-in-law of Keith Arthur, grandmother of Josh and Libby Arthur, and the yahrzeit of Norma Fetter, mother-in-law of David Goldsmith, Brian Ganderson, brother of Janice Connor, Rose Strauss Ganderson, mother of Janice Connor, Ethel Grandis, mother of Barbara Carter, Elaine Halberstadt, mother of Lisa Halberstadt, Louis Horwitz, brother of Henry Horwitz, Jenny Kagan, grandmother of Linda Kerman, Maida Levine, mother of David Levine, Carl Lichtenstein, father of Werner Lichtenstein, and Helen Whitaker, aunt of Grace Silverstein. If there are other loved ones you wish to remember tonight, below parentheses Kaddish. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories always be a blessing. We continue as a community of support with the Mourners Kaddish on page 24. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma Divra Chirute V'yamlich Malchute, B'chayechon Uvyomechon Uvchaye Decho Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Uvizman Kari V'imru Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Olomei Almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shmei dekudesha brichu, le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim alinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, alinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and may we be a source of comfort for all who are bereaved, and let us say,
Amen.
Amen. And as we are in the concluding days of Passover, we will conclude our service tonight with a great Passover song, Dayenu, with the verse about Shabbat, the bottom of page 26.
Ilu natan natan lanu et ha-Shabbat natan lanu et ha-Shabbat dayenu. Dayenu, 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 dayenu. Can we sing the verse about Torah? Because that's my favorite
I suppose
one.
we could be grateful for the Torah as well as Shabbat.
Why not? They
All
go
right.
hand in hand. So we'll now say HaTorah instead of Shabbat. Ilu hotzi natan lanu et ha-Torah natan lanu et ha-Torah dayenu. Dayenu, 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 dayenu.
So Chag Sameach and Shabbat Shalom.
Chag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom.